hurling himself down the rapid with express speed to the tune of a fast, emptying reel. Has an electric joy apart from any other sport. There's nothing quite like it. And once experienced, it is imprinted forever on the tablets of memory. Many a sportsman has truly said he would rather catch a big Mahseer than shoot a tiger. Fish! Bloody hell, Paul. He must have about 100 yards of line now. And I'm a writer and a fisherman. In Britain, I fish nearly every day of my life. Many years ago, I read the account of the Indian Mahseer in a book written in the 1940s by A. St. John MacDonald. Those words haunted me, and my ambition has always been to come to India and catch this huge fish, half carp, half barbel, so prized by the great anglers of the British Empire. I was on a houseboat like this a few years ago, but this is... With me on this expedition is Paul Boote, who is an expert on Mahseer. Together, we intend to follow in the footsteps of the great sportsmen of the past. Well, the sun's beginning to... Paul has travelled and fished all over India and is convinced there is no greater challenge for an angler than the legendary golden Mahseer found in the river Ganges. Paul says that timing and the weather will be crucial to our success. During the summer, in the monsoon floods, the Mahseer are up, spawning on the mountain in the tributaries. And towards the end of August, beginning of September, those fish begin to drop down as the waters fall. And we intend to be at a confluence of a tributary with the Ganges. If we hit it right, we're going to encounter some incredible fishing. But our journey begins here, in the western Himalaya, in Kashmir. We're going to spend a few days here, hoping the rains will die out in the east, in time for us to start fishing.
I've been to government on the telephone, and got the message about the weather condition. And it's raining heavily there.
Dinesh is our trek leader and guide. He's been doing his best to keep weather reports coming in from the upper Ganges.
We may get, when we arrive, we may have a couple of days of rain. But I think if we do anyway, we'll get rid of that, it'll be over, and the fishing should be good.
Yes, certainly. Srinagar is the ancient capital of Kashmir. It's the first Asian city I've seen, and after the calm of the lakes, it's quite a shock.
Well, John, this is it. This is the oldest tackle shop in Kashmir. And, I know, and here's Mr. Gafara.
This old tackle shop is more familiar, full of dusty reels and faded photographs. A reminder that Kashmir is famous for its trout fishing.
And it's got your firm's name stamped?
Yes,
Kashmir.
Gosh.
What was it like in the old days?
In old days it was a very good. And in those days it was only 3 rupees a lesson per day.
Really? I think I've arrived too late, you know.
Srinagar is built around a maze of waterways and canals, and a shikara, a Kashmir water taxi, is an easy form of transport. Most of the Srinagar was a favourite retreat for the British, but they never ruled Kashmir and were forbidden to own land or property. But by the 1890s, they had found a way round this rule. They developed the native Dunga boats, turning them into lavish houseboats, and that way they could live legally on water. Monsoon still raging in the east, it would be foolish to travel to the Ganges just yet. Nearly a century ago, trout were introduced from Scotland to the Kashmir streams. Today they thrive, and no true fisherman could resist the temptation. Dinesh has arranged this convoy to take us to a camp beside the River Lidder. Became fascinated with fishing when I was 4 years old. I was staying with my parents at a hotel in Wales, and I looked out of the bedroom window, and there was a river there. It was dawn, and there was a man fishing. I was mesmerized. He was very quiet, very grey, almost like a heron, and the more I watched him, the more fascinated I became. I think from that moment I was a fisherman.
Early start, eh?
Yes, very much so.
The story really begins in the 1880s. At that time, Kashmir was beginning to open up to the first British tourists, and they were residing on the houseboats, and within a few years they had recognized the place to be a sportsman's paradise. So in the late 1890s, a gentleman named Frank Mitchell, a resident of Srinagar, together with 4 friends, each pledged £50 and founded a fishing club. And the fishing club was to import 10,000 trout over from a Scottish hatchery, to have them sent over by steamer from Britain to Bombay, and from Bombay by train, and then by pack pony or porter's back, to Srinagar, right up in the western Himalaya. And it was a success.
All the trout rivers are divided up into beats of 2 or 3 kilometres. Each beat is shepherded by 2 gillies, shikaris as they're called. They tell you where to put your feet, what fly to use. They know these rivers literally like the back of their hand. For me, straight from English rivers, chalk rivers, still waters, he's been a real inspiration, the man behind me. Well done, mate, well done. This is my first evening on the river. It's been a very hard day. The weather's been very bright, the water's dropping all the time, fish have been very hard. I tried pheasant tails, which is what you'd expect, but my faithful shikari here put me right, put me onto a big black fly, and a lovely fish of about a pound and a quarter was the result. It was a perfect end to the day.
Here is the fish. The thing is, you wrap in the wet newspaper like this. It takes about 10 minutes on each side.
Has it got anything inside it, or?
Oh yes, it has got in the belly. It has got some garlic and butter and some little bit of Indian spices just to real taste. You will really like it. You'll go crazy.
Kashmir Trout River, and he thinks it is our best chance for some memorable fishing before we leave for the Ganges.
It's a river which rises from the snows, is fed by 3 tributaries, and it's a river which flows at middle altitude. At this time of the year, August, the river's cleared, the fish are making an easy living, they're taking flies well, and it's a delight to fish. Yes, tiddler. Look at this little chap. Well, we want something a bit bigger than that. Bring him in.
Last year, there was serious flooding in the Bringi Valley. Dinesh asked my gilly how it affected the fishing.
पिछले साल इस बार तो नहीं he's saying that it happened obviously. I mean, it caused a lot of damage to the fish life last year when there was a heavy flood, but now he says it's all right. शिकारियों को तो काफी नुकसान हुआ होगा. काफी नुकसान हमें तो गवर्नमेंट का पे नहीं यही है. He's saying that because they're not paid by the government, whatever they're paid or their tip, it's all by the fishermen who come here for fishing because they get attached to the fishermen here. So I mean, if there are no fishermen, no fishing, obviously, no income for them. So
it's been a hard year for Herbie.
Oh yes, obviously it's a very hard year for them. They seem to be very, very frustrated because of this. Shot. There's a trout, but a goer nevertheless. Down the current. Good fish, this one. Oh dear. He's behind a rock. These fish are famous for that. And he's left the hook in the rock. All over. God, Paul. Jesus. You've got yourself a... Have you got yourself a trout or a Kashmiri fish there? I don't know, mate.
I don't know. Your guess is literally as good as mine.
Well done.
I'm bloody sorry, I didn't mean to...
No.
It could be a Kashmiri, of course.
Just a moment, watch him. If it's a Kashmiri fish, they're experts in the rocks.
No, I can't.
I can't hold it. I think I know why. He's fouled. They don't take very often. I got one to take earlier. But this one's it's in the behind. You're doing it.
Still on, it's a miracle.
Right. Bring him back. You're fighting the full weight of the current plus his body. He's coming back. Oh my goodness, he's in the flank. John! What is the name? Do you want to know what it is?
Yeah, tell me what it is.
Well, it's a forward marble. It's called a chouche.
Yeah.
They're very strong. Quite a handsome fish.
Well, I think he goes back.
Yeah. After pulling that hard, he does.
Hold them till he gains strength.
I wish somebody would do that for me. Good.
Water straight from the mountains. But the giant Mahseer has brought us to India. With only 2 weeks left, we must leave the Ganges, despite continuing reports of ceaseless rain in the hills. Towards the town of Dehradun. It's an old hill station, and our last staging post before we reach the Ganges. We've hit some kind of roadblock. Dinesh and Frami, our assistant from Delhi, say it's a political rally and a strike. It seems they want to stop all traffic.
It will take about half an hour, and in about half an hour's time the police will come and round them up.
I hope there's no trouble. Caught up with the monsoon. In the teeming rain, it is not quite the romantic hill station I visualized. But in fact, it is one of their most important centers for education. I taught history at a boys' school in England for many years, and I'm still interested in education. While we're stuck in the monsoon, it's a good chance to meet some of the boys at Dehra's Welham School.
Are you all in your last year? Last year. We'll be leaving in March. In March? Where will you all be going? I think colleges or colleges in Delhi or Bombay or
Do you think that politics can solve India's problems? Not exactly, sir. Politics can, in fact, the Indian politics is kind of ruining the thing, sir, because there's so much of corruption, must be all over the world, but India...
How do you think that India will solve?
I think by the help of the younger generation, sir.
Most of the people don't take the younger generation seriously. There are many things that the younger generation looks at with a new, sort of a new opinion and a wider scope. But it's not taken very seriously by the elder generation. It's still that the value of the opinion hasn't yet come in India.
Do you see your own roles in the future as businessmen, sort of generating wealth?
We do, sir. Most of us will be the future entrepreneurs. And it depends on us on how to pay the laborers and how to get this interaction between the labor and the owner. Entrepreneurs are just fighting for their profits, and the laborers are going from bad to worse. So which people like us will have to change so when we grow up.
do you have good relationships with the girls' school across the road?
Very good.
Very good. How do you meet? Do you meet in an organised fashion or?
Yes, sir. Each Sunday from 4 to 6 we allow us people.
Between 4 and 6?
Yes, sir.
Not up to 6
And
at all?
no, not up to 6 at all.
Not 5 past 6? Or
No, sir, the chowkidar or whatever, the guy, the man, he kicks us out, he says, time for you to go.
So you've got 2 hours a week?
Yes, 2 hours a week. And others like function.
We may take them out too.
Oh, you can take them out?
Yes, sir.
And that's, you have to manipulate the whole thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's very highly... We've been in Dehradun for a couple of days now, and I'm enjoying Dehradun, but I yearn to get out in the countryside again. This is gnawing into me. We're here and it's been raining all day, and I think we're all feeling frustration now. I just want to get on the Ganges and get going. Maurice Mehta is one of the last great Mahseer fishermen. 10 years ago, he and Paul fished together on the Ganges.
Maurice, I think you must know the North Indian Mahseer better than any man in India today. I know your catches have been legendary over the years. Those Ganges fish, they've been renowned as probably the largest fish in northern India.
Dehradun is really the mecca, used to be the mecca of anglers in India, because this is where we have two big rivers, from Dehradun, they're about 20-25 miles away. And these two big rivers have a lot of small streams moving into them. And these small streams are the main ones in which the big fish move.
The nursery streams for sport.
They are. Bias Ghats is, I think, an excellent place. And you really have to, if you have to go and fish that area, you have to go and stay there for quite some time. Because you don't know when the big fish come. While I was fishing, this time up there a confluence.
Yes.
There's a U-bend over there.
Yes.
And at that U-bend, a dead cow came in and started, going around and round in that particular U-bend. And also, a big sleeper also came down into that area. Suddenly, I saw a vulture. This vulture came, saw this old cow there, and it came, settled on it. And started straight away yanking at it, with great vigor, and kept on going with it for some time. I think it yanked so much this time that it went arse over tit into the river. Yes, into the water. So now I said, this old chap has had it. And so I moved down a little further. I said, if I can possibly help it, I'll try and hook it when it comes down. But no, this vulture started swimming with the butterfly stroke, with the sails, like this, going like this. And of course, being a big animal and, being the feathers, of course, get wet, get soaked very quickly, he got tired. But fortunately for him, that log came at that right moment.
Yeah.
So the old vulture put his beak on that log, and the log took it round. And when the log came towards the beach, he vigorously, with his butterfly stroke, he went to reach the shore.
waiting all this time to see the Ganges, my excitement is quickly soured. Even here in the hills, it's an enormous river, swollen by floodwater. I've never seen, let alone fished, a river like it.
The Ganges, I think, must be the most sacred river in the world. It's revered by hundreds of millions of Hindus. It's called Gangamai, Mother Ganges. 1,500 miles in length, rising from the snows, Kedarnath and Badrinath in the high Himalaya. The actual source is a place called Galmok, the Cow's Mouth, an ice cave high up in the among the peaks.
The bus can go no further. From here on, it's porters and mules. In temperatures hitting 120 and difficult terrain, we have a race on to reach the river before dark. We have just 8 days to catch the Mahseer. Our camp is on the bank of the Ganges. The river sweeps past, discoloured with silt. Even its tributary, the Naya, is in flood. Both rivers are unfishable.
The Naya itself needs to drop about another foot, and it needs to clear.
It's dropping very quickly, Paul. I suppose the colour's the biggest problem.
It is, but it's a small river. You wouldn't believe it, but it's a small river as Himalayan rivers go, and this could be clear in 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
These rods are made of graphite and Kevlar, and I especially designed them with Mahseer in mind. I've obviously had a few Mahseer over the years, and I've used a good many rods. We need a rod which can throw a bait or a lure or a plug a depth of a long distance, but at the same time will bend through into the lower part. A fishing rod really is only a spring, and a Mahseer really tests that spring to its utmost limit.
The Ganges still roars, so we begin on the tributary. Even when I'm fishing, I'm never alone here. The hills around us are full of life, though it's the women who appear to do most of the work. Premi comes originally from this part of India, so I asked her opinion.
Am I seeing it totally through rose-tinted spectacles, just as a man here to fish for a few weeks?
Well, I guess on the surface it all looks very kind of
No, but it's like a
picturesque and
paradise, isn't
comfortable
it?
and that kind of thing, but I really don't think it's as easy as that. You have the green hills here now after the monsoons, and you
So I'm
have
seeing it at
the river at the back, which is looking full and beautiful and all of that. But I was talking to some women in the afternoon yesterday, and they said, you're from Delhi and how privileged you are, and they were just talking about how they've constantly lived a life of eating their food and getting ready to carry the utensils, which are really heavy on their head, washing it and taking it back. You can imagine how hard agriculture is in terrain like this, which is really, pretty rough. A lot of the times, if the monsoons fail, the agriculture is just not enough.
Officially, they are given concession by the government to some extent to collect the dead woods for the fire, for the firewood.
Surinder is a young man from the nearby village who has adopted us. He invited us to meet his family, but most of the villagers turned out. We've been here 3 days. We arrived to find the water very, very high. Paul said that there'd be no point fishing for a while and my heart sank. I've got to say though, it's very much an act of faith coming to a river like this. We've known the Mahseer here. We've seen photographs of them. I've talked to Paul about them. I've read Anglian books about them. But I've still got to book one for myself.
The Mahseer, I think, unfortunately, has become a threatened species in the last 20 to 30 years. Mahseer rivers rise generally 1,000 feet above sea level in forested country. And the development over the last 30 years has cut a lot of this forest. It has put dams across the valleys. It has reduced water flow. All these changes have resulted in siltation of the rivers, and that has meant a declining habitat in which the Mahseer can breed. These fish require fast, clear water, clean water, with rocks and pebbles beneath their belly.
No sign of the Mahseer yet, but at least I've caught something. A fish I've never seen before.
Great. Let me get him out from the kingfisher larder. Look at that.
Now, what is he?
Well, in Hindi, he's calabans, the Indian calabans. My first fish I ever caught in India was that character, so you've duplicated the experience. Isn't it gorgeous? And I was in the same predicament as you. I had to go back to the books that night and try and find out what the devil I'd caught that afternoon. Back you go, boy. Back you go. There you go.
Begun to drop. The colour's gone out of it. It's gone from brown to green, and now it's a strange sort of murky turquoise, I suppose. The weather's so important to us. Through the day the heat builds, and towards evening the clouds start to assemble. Then the roll of thunder. As we're having dinner in the tent, the first drops of rain begin to sort of spatter. Everybody holds their breath. Is this just going to be a storm? Is it just going to be a passing shower? Is it going to be a deluge? Are we going to be set back days in time? Are we going to have to sit while the monsoon strikes again? Are we going to have to be there in tents looking at the rain, looking at the Nile coming back up, looking at it muddied again, looking at the turquoise turning to brown? And then mercifully, it seems to pass. This morning I was fishing at 6. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to be taken soon. I'm sure I am. I feel it.
John, I think it's time we tried something different. It started life as something really nasty and green, and I spent an afternoon in my garden at home about a fortnight ago with some spray paints and some window netting.
Yes, that was the pattern.
Gold colour, that's what the Mahseer gold pattern. Have a crack at that.
Marvellous, and you've refitted it with stronger hooks.
Yeah. Up until today, we've been trying spoon. Today, trying something different, which is called a plug. And it's basically a lump of plastic or wood with a metal vein on the front, which causes the body of the plug to wobble through the water or quiver rather than spin as a metal spoon would. The large Mahseer prefer plug to any other lure. Fish! Fish on! Yes! It's a good one! I don't know if it's moving. I don't know if I just touched it and it came off. That's a bloody good fish, that was. Bloody great splash. Oh, you marvellous man. I don't know if he's on, John, but did you see that splash? Yes. He took it, but I don't know if he transferred it. Oh, please. Yeah, it's on. Oh, God. Yeah, it's a fish. Yeah, look, watch him go. That locked. I know. And that is direct to the fish. He's just holding his current, holding his position. Oh. Now, we take it easy. Take it easy. Keep a few feet away from it because if the fish goes, right, he could go anywhere. Yeah, it's come behind. Yeah. My God, he's a nice fish. I'll go for that slack water behind me if necessary. Right. Good fish. Yeah, that 20s. He's well off, and I'm well out of my way this time, because, don't worry, this guy can go. When he goes, don't worry, mate, go anywhere. He's out into the current, you see. I'll try and pick him up a bit. Jesus. Look at the go. Oh, what's the current? What a fish. What a fish. I think I may have to swim up to this one, but we'll see. This one and bring him across all these miles, all this effort. Well, let's hope the ledge, we hope we land this ledge. I'm going to lead him out of temptation like a mastiff on a leash. Upstream, away from the rapids, because he could go absolutely wild at the last moment. She's a grandmother. Oh, look. One of the grandmothers. Look at the breadth of the back. Oh, poor. That's absolutely beautiful. One of the grandmothers. Now, Surinder. I'm going to leave Surinder to do it, John. Yes, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to see you impaled with treble. No, this guy knows what he's doing. Okay, Surinder. Okay. Take him out. No. Damn it! You bastard! Oh! What a fish! Good fish. Oh! What a fish! Oh, you genius! Somewhere between 19 and 24 pounds, something like that. It's a good fish, a big female fish. See the size of the tail, big mouth, huge scales. Let's see how much he weighs. I wasn't far wrong, she is 26 pounds.
Times have changed. Neither Paul nor I would want to kill a magnificent creature like this Mahseer. We don't fish for trophies. It's part of the pleasure of fishing, to watch these splendid fish swim away. With 2 days left, we know the big fish have arrived. I just hope that tomorrow will be my day.
description I saw of the Mahseer was in a Rudyard Kipling story. And there was this marvellous line, there he met the Mahseer of the Punch, beside whom the tarpon is as a herring, and he who lands him can say that he is a fisherman. I think it was in a story called The Brushwood Boy. And some years later, I saw a photograph in a fishing tackle catalogue of the 1930s. A photograph of an enormous fish suspended from a pole, and at either end of the pole was a beturbaned Indian bearer, and in front of the fish, a tall, slim Edwardian lady in full riding dress, fishing rod in hand, brass reel on the rod, and the caption read, a 56-pound Mahseer caught from the River Ganges, northern India.
Yes! I have! Jesus Christ! Stay loud! 100!
Doing at the moment. Just doggo. Tuck the rod into your stomach. Don't be afraid of it. Play it hard. You've got a strong line on. Finger on the spool as you pump. Right. Oh my God. Oh, I don't believe this. Right. Take your line off, huh? Yeah, bend the rod job. I know, but that's it. Come square with her. Come square with her and give her some pressure. Keep that pressure. Don't slack off once you're walking. Keep it tight. Now hit up on the side, and that will make it go across the current. Get her working upstream as possible. Right, keep that pressure, side pressure as you've got on the mouth. Moving up. Nice fish. Let it go, let it go. Right, now, really bend into the job. Those hooks are in there for good. You can hammer these fish. Don't be afraid of it. Right, you'll have it now. Now I'm going to get it and have this fish for you. Sorry about that. I have it.
Nothing has prepared me for this fish. It was such a savage take. I just couldn't believe its first run. It was electric. I'm still shaking.
And that is a beauty. I took a big 30. She's 39 pounds.
The river takes back both fish and man. Across the water, a funeral pyre burns. A villager has died, and the ashes will be scattered in these sacred waters. All around, pilgrim paths lead to small shrines in the hills. This last month has probably been the most dramatic of my life. For most people, angling starts as a pastime, then develops into a fascination. But for a few of us, it becomes an obsession. We spend our lives searching for impossible fish, often disappointed, but knowing that sometime, perhaps just once in a lifetime, we will hook and play and even land our dream. I will never forget these weeks in the Himalayas, or the gift of the Ganges, the mighty Mahseer.
Wow. John, 9 out.
Right, it's out.
Wild fish.
It's out.
Where does that go? Jeez. 90 yards and still going. Big fish, I think. I hope. She's still going. That's a big fish, I think, John. At least. Big old fish. That's the sort of take and run I've come to expect from a Ganges at Mahseer. I can feel the old tail waving. I don't like predicting, but I think we've got a very big fish on here. Maintaining absolutely unremitting pressure on it. Just seen the back. Seen us. Oh my goodness, we've got a big fish here. Hurrah! I think it's time. Whoa, no. Come on, lady, now. No, she's not going to go up. We're going to pump her back. 40 pounds perhaps. Slowly. It's got a lot of steam in there yet. Oh, what a big fish. It's almost as big as one of them. She's going to come. Okay. Gentlemen, I think that's well over 40 pounds. God, hold up. 9 years ago I fished here and had a great catch. And I really hoped that when we came back this September, we were going to have a repeat performance. And 9 years on, the Ganges has turned up trumps. It's done it again. Lovely river, great fish.
Oh, hi, God, you've done it.
I've done it. 52 pounds.
52.
The last magnificent Mahseer goes back. The search for Ganges gold is over, and our journey complete.
What? Oh, well done.
Is a Granada presentation in association with Barclaycard Visa.